And then in the, I don't want it to link to anything, but I could add in a link if I wanted to. And then on the other side, I'm gonna, paste this text. I'm gonna leave it just a regular Wiswiggy in the block. And actually, I do wanna make this a block. It's a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm doing this wrong. When you use blocks, I apologize. You don't use, you use columns, but you also use blocks. So one column could have more than one block. Maybe I want, the text and the icon to be right on top of each other, right next to each other. There's a couple of ways you can do that. But then you can also add in, you can still add in a second column. And maybe in the second column, it only has one item in its row. We can try this. And then once you're done, you just check your content and submit. If you don't want to put it out even on test yet, because maybe it's a mess and I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out and I'm just playing with stuff and I'm figuring it out. So within the block, I did this as two things in one column, and then I did this as one thing in one column. And as you can see, there's all of this text right here, so it doesn't know what to do with itself. And it's got this little tiny icon. I'm like, that looks weird. I'm not loving that. So I go back into edit and I think, I'll get rid of that big block on the side. Obviously, the two columns isn't quite working the way I want it to. And I think, maybe I'll just get rid of that second column. And we're ignoring the misspellings. It really hates Latin. It doesn't know what to do with it. That's why it's throwing so many things. Now this looks a little better. I'd probably play with this some more to get it centered, and you can do that right in the oh no, I apologize. I thought for some reason, I'm lying to you guys. I thought for some reason in the block it would let me center it, but it doesn't, not with the icon. We would add in CSS for that if that was something you guys were going to be doing often. So there's ways around that, and I apologize. But easy enough. You can add in a blocker. Maybe you go back and you're like, that block, that icon thing looks weird, and it's just not working for me. And I think that maybe we'll just do something else. We'll do an image. So I really want it to be big and take up half the page. So I'm going to go browse images and see what I can find. We'll try this guy, right? Oh, no. Try this guy. We'll choose it. Say, okay. Oh. And again, please don't take my all images something you should write. It's terrible. So I've done all this in the back end, and I have not actually changed anything on the front end. No one is seeing all of my weirdness and mistakes, and I can play back here for as long as I want. Oh, I accidentally left that silly little icon in there. So in icon, you've got to go ahead and erase that and then go back to image and save it. And this time when I see it, I think, okay, that works. I will publish it for now. And then once it finishes publishing, I can go onto the front and see that it comes up. Does anyone have any questions so far? I think we'll go next into creating a new page, which is right here, add content. And you can either create an event or you can create a page. All right, so page name. As you can see, it cannot have any spaces and it can't have trailing spaces. So this page name right here is not the title. It's not this up here. It is very specifically this. There can be no ampersands. There can be no spacing, no weirdness. It has to be just straight text, and it has to be hyphenated if there's spaces. So we'll just do a test. You can do underscore or you can do hyphen. We'll do a test too. And I don't want this placement folder. You need to tell it where to go. So if you're creating a water page, you want it to go into water resources. You don't want it to go into sandbox. And I've used water resources recently, so that's why it's sitting here in recent. But I could also always browse to it. So from here, it would be just down here at the bottom. And click it. And so within water resources, and we'll go over the folder structure a bit more in just a second here, there's other folders. So does it go in dam safety? Does it go in flooding? Does it go outside? Is it just part of water resources? I think that's where we'll leave this test for now. So we'll choose it. And again, so the display name and the title, that's where all of this comes in, the water resources and that kind of thing. So we'll just do test 2, and that's where you can have spacing and other explanation points. All of those things can be had. So do you include it in the menu? Does it display a breadcrumb on the page? I believe this is actually going to be taken care of globally on your site, but you do have the option to turn on and off breadcrumbs as you need. Does it have a banner image? This one's not going to have a banner image, but we'll start with the row. Let's call this page. And just throw a little bit of text in it. So once I've filled everything out, and if I don't fill it out correctly, it just won't go anywhere, and there'll be a big red box up here that says, hey, you forgot to do something. So anything that is starred will absolutely throw an error, not let you finish. All you have to do is go in here, check and submit. It hates Latin, so it's telling me I got all kinds of misspellings, but I'm going to say, yeah, that's all right, and click it. So I've created the page, and now I'm going to publish it. And once that's done, I'm going to come down here. So this context menu is extremely helpful. You're going to find all kinds of fun stuff with it. One of the easy things is, the edit, the publish. You can move your pages around within your folders. Maybe you find a page that's supposed to be in water science data, not in dam safety, and you need to move it. That's what this move button is for. We'll go over that in just 1 second. You can rename the page. This is where you would also check out or lock it. This menu also is, so I have this page chosen, and you can tell I have it chosen because it's showing up right here. Once you do that, this menu will also up here where it says more have most of those things, those little helpful tidbits. And the one thing that we really like, at least, is the live button. So click it and it opens in a new page. The hard part is, though, and the reason why this is still a 404, even though I tested it, or I published it, is that the live, that is actually hooked up to the production site. As you can see, that's what loaded. So in order to get to test, and this is true for every single Cascade site, you just type in test dash at the beginning of your URL. This is another one of those little tricks that'll be in your manual. And so once you do that, it'll take you to the test site. And then you can see, oh, there's my page and I'm looking at it. If I love it, I can go right back in and say, publish to production. We're not going to do that today, but we certainly could, and it wouldn't hurt anything. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. Trying to think. Oh, we should go over versions. I apologize. So build a new dam, something I did some work on today. I added some text, so we had something to look at. Once I've loaded the page, I clicked it and it's loaded right here. I can go up to more right here and I can go to versions. This will show me every version that has been made for the last 20 versions. So if I made an update to a page and everything went badly, I could go back to the beginning and say, I can either click on it and look at it to be like, what changed? What did I do wrong? Where's my stuff at? Oh yeah, that's right. I got rid of that image and added some text. So click back. If I decide that that is the better page, that I need that version back, I can click right here and restore this version. I can also compare it with the current. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I added in all of this stuff. That's what's new. So versions are for every page you guys create, it'll hold up to 20. You can always revert back, which is why I always caution, if you find yourself struggling, and whatever you're working on is kind of falling apart, stop and get some help. We can revert it back really quick. If you save the same thing 20 times, there's your 20 versions. So rather than continuing to struggle and overwriting good code, maybe wait, get some help, and we can help you sort it out. Let's see here. I think, oh, you know what? One last thing, I apologize. Let's say this basin closures is in the wrong folder. Or maybe you even added an image and it ended up right here, and you need to move it. You would just come to the page, make sure it's the one that's picked and it's loading right here. Right click on it. And scroll down until you get more, and then click the move. And you're telling it, where is it going? I want it to go into, let's say, dam safety. That's where it belongs. And I say choose. And then and the one thing you want to do before you hit this move button, and this will also be in your manual, you want to unpublish it from specific destinations. You want to unpublish this and then republish it once it gets done moving. That will help the front end to catch up. So that way it understands that you moved it. And the reason why is you're actually changing the URL. If you're moving from, let's see. As you can see, it's water resources, dam safety, but if you're moving into, fire, flooding, and floodplains folder, that'll also be up there. What it's doing is it's giving the database time to catch up with the fact that you're moving that folder and the URL is changing, because otherwise they're going to come to this page and it's going to be a 404. So you want to tell the system, hey, this doesn't exist there anymore. Unpublish it and move it. A lot of times you have to update the back end in order to see those moves. So it went to dam safety like I told it to. So got it. Test. And it's not published because I unpublished it. So now I'm going to publish it again. Of course, it's giving me a hard time because cache is a thing. Oh, sorry. Nope, because I can't put test in front of it. And of course, it's broken now that I've done it on here. Normally, your page comes right back and it's not a big pain. So don't worry. Usually you would not have an issue getting it to load again. So of course, because I'm doing this on the call, it has to be a pain. If it's being a pain like this, I would probably unpublish it again. Oh, and you know what? I wasn't checking my publish queue either. Here's my page. It's still loading there. It's now where it's supposed to be. As you can see, this is telling you where it lives right here. So we're going to go ahead and publish it one more time to test. I'll look at my publish queue because I can sit there and punch the buttons all day, but if it isn't done publishing, it's not going to do anything. And there we go, because I did it twice and you guys were watching. So there you go. That's how you move pages around in the back end. As you can see, sometimes it's a pain. But instead of getting frustrated, just unpublish and republish one more time. A lot of times it's cache more than the system itself and waiting for that server to catch up with the caching. So does anyone have any questions? I've been talking at you for over an hour. Have your eyes crossed yet? Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and give you guys back some of your time today then. If we don't have, any questions or anything, like I said, you guys will receive an email that lays out where the login is for Cascade and how to get to this site. You guys have already been added in permission wise to the site to play around. Highly recommend you just get in there and move some things, create a couple pages, just kind of figure out how everything works. And also know that we're here to support you whenever you guys need help.
Thanks a ton.
Thank you. All right, well, if we don't have any other questions or anything else, I'll hang on until everybody jumps off, but I'll give you back, 15 minutes of your time, and I hope you have a good day, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.